7th grade. Welcome to Chapter 2. If you aren't looking at new notes, you should be. It's a new note packet if you're a distance learner. Also, Group A and B, I gave you a new page of notes for this. So, some new goals. Identify properties of numbers and use properties to help solve problems. The first thing we need to do is write down these properties, starting with the commutative properties of addition. And actually, I prefer or multiplication because it's not adding and multiplying at the same time. It's one or the other. You're going to definitely need to pause so you can write this down. Really important. Commutative property. Changing the order. Really important. Does not change the sum or product, which are fancy words for answers. What does this mean? I can take 7 plus 5 and change the order to 5 plus 7. 7 plus 5, 12. 5 plus 7, 12. Both sides equal. If it is adding and you change the order, it won't change the answer. 5 times 6, change the order to 6 times 5. Changing the order does not change the answer. Changing the order does not change the answer. Pause if you need more time. Second property, associative property of adding or multiplying, not both at the same time. This one says changing the group. Changing the group. How do you make a group in math? You have parentheses. You're going to need to pause to write this down. In this first example, 7 times 5, 35 times 4. Ooh, I'm not really sure what 35 times 4 is. But if I change the group, not the order, if I change the group, now I have 7 times 20. And I know 7 times 2 is 14. Add a 0. This side would have been 140 also, but I don't need a side problem. Same thing if I'm going to do some adding. That's a 7, sorry. 27 plus 7 is kind of hard for me. So wouldn't it be nice to change the group? 7 plus 3 is 10. That wasn't hard for me. 10 plus 27, 37. That wasn't hard for me. Guess what I would have got on the left side? Also 37. Changing the group does not change the answer. Changing the group does not change the answer. The last one actually has 2 parts. Identity property. You're going to need to pause. The sum. Sum has 3 letters like the word add. Any number and 0 is the original answer. Or the product of any number and 1 is the original answer. For example, 7,290. Add 0. Still 7,290. Doesn't matter how tough or big that number is, it's the same answer. Or 3,250,319 times 1. Not difficult. Gives me the same answer. Identity property wants to stay the same. The number wants to stay the same. It doesn't want to change to something else. Keep its own identity. So the first goal is to be able to identify which property is which. So part A says 7 times 5 is the same as 5 times 7. You definitely should look back. Is there a plus 0? Is there a times 1? Did we change the group or did we change the order? Oh, we changed the order. This is the abbreviation you can use. Please don't make up your own abbreviation. Part B. Did we change the order? No. Did we change the group? No. Did we add 0 or times by 1? Yes. Identity, property of multiplication. Part C. Did I change the group? No. Did I multiply by 1 or add 0? No. Did I change the order? Yes. Please don't make up your own abbreviation. Use these official math abbreviations. Just like we're not making up our own abbreviation for Minnesota, you wanted to use T and A at the end of Minnesota? Sorry, the official abbreviation is MN. Last one. Plus 0? No. Times 1? No. Change the group? Yes. X times Y was in a group. Now 5 times X is in a group. Associative property of multiplication. So the first goal was to be able to identify which property. The second goal is to be able to identify which property you're going to use when. If you have your note page, you might need to turn over to the back for more room. There are easier ways to solve all 4 of these problems. Pause the video. See if you can find the easier way. These are my easier way. It doesn't have to be your easier way. These are my easier way. We could have something different. Part A, I use the commutative property to switch the order. Part B, I use two rules. I use the identity property, 3 times 1 stays 3, and the associative property to make a new group. C, I use the commutative property. 2 times 15 goes a lot better together than 2 times 18 with a 15. In part D, I actually used all three properties. Identity property, when it says times 1. Associative property, I made a new group to multiply -1 times -2. And commutative property, 5 times 6 was easy to put together. So when you take a look at page 71, if this was the textbook, I'm not going to write down this exact problem. Because yes, I know 4 times 9, but I don't know 36 times 5, so I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to say, hey, I would prefer to change the order, and on my paper, put 4 and 5 next to each other because I can solve that quickly. Changing the order was commutative property of multiplication. So you don't use the order in the book. That's probably not the best order. Write down a new order or a new group or getting times 1 and plus 0 out of the way with the identity property. That is what you would do on page 71, along with 6 questions where you name the property using the abbreviation is fine. Hope you have an awesome day. That's all for the start of chapter 2.